أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونستنصره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إلها واحدا أحدا صمدا لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا ولم يكن له كفوا أحد وأشهد أن نبينا وعظيمنا محمد عبد الله ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وحبيبه اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد يقول جل جلاله في محكم التنزيل شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون. This verse is going to be recited on every minbar this week and next week all across the world. And it's something that brings me a lot of joy to know And to imagine it, that everywhere across the world, billions of Muslims are listening to the same verse being recited by whoever is on the minbar, addressing them about what gift Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has in store for them within the next week. And next week, inshallah ta'ala, I'll stand here and I'll give the khutbah, and then that same night we will, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants us the blessing, we'll pray Taraweeh and we'll enter the blessed month of Ramadan. And I say this every single year, and if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants me life, I will say this every year to come till the day I die. Every time you come near Ramadan, every time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala treats you with such generosity that He allows you to witness another Ramadan in reasonable health and in good faith and iman, then you have to make this intention at the beginning of it. And if you've attended any of my khutbahs throughout Ramadan over the last 10 years, I get on the minbar and I say the same thing at the beginning of every single khutbah. I say, number one, renew your intentions. Renew your intentions. Because if you don't renew your intention, then it's not going to work out for you. Make this Ramadan the best of your life. And if you thought and made that intention last year, then make that intention again this year. And if you've been making that intention every year since the time you can, as far as you can remember back in your life, then make it again this year. And may this year be the best Ramadan of your entire life. You know why? Because very simply, you just don't know if you're going to make it to the one after. Quite frankly, I don't even know if I'm going to make it to this one. None of us can swear that they're going to make it to this Ramadan. It's only a week away. Aside from the odds of a horrible hazard to occur to us, we should, but we don't know for sure. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, with His karam, He'll grant us this Ramadan. Allahumma balighna Ramadan. Allahumma balighna Ramadan. The concept of it is just absolutely beautiful. You see, your life is 1,000 full moons. This is your life. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about khayrun min alfi shahr, He says alfi shahr, 1,000 months, 1,000 full moons. 1,000 months is over 83 years. That's the median of the life of a human being. If you make it that far in life, honestly, you're doing really well. If you're in your 80s, may Allah bless, you made it farther than most people who've lived on the planet. We live 1,000 moons. And what's coming ahead of us right now is one of those moons, one of those 1,000. And it's more valuable than all of them put together. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues to explain the same point time and time again. It's not about quantity. It's not about quantity. It's not about size. He can put subhanahu wa ta'ala some of the most powerful things in the smallest of His creations. And He will put the most barakah sometimes in the smallest amount of time. It's not about quantity, it's about the quality. So yes, you're going to live 1,000 moons. But this one's special. The one that's coming to you right now that you're going to take and embrace, and you're going to be granted the blessing, the bounty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be able to witness, this is a special one. And it can make up for all the full moons that came before it, where we didn't do very well. We don't know what we've done in these moons that have passed already, and the moons that are going to come ahead of us in our life. We don't know. But what we do know is that this one here is very special and very significant and very unique. And within it lies a secret that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself knows about. And He put within that full moon a night that can literally fix the entirety of your life. It can allow you the opportunity to turn things around. It can press the reset button on all of the negatives in your life. All of the negatives, you can reset them again. You can turn a new leaf and a new page. You can change how things have been and turn it into something that's much more meaningful, something you can be proud of Yawm al-Qiyamah, something that you can stand and be happy that you made the decision of at some point in your life. Missing this, he said عليه الصلاة والسلام في الحديث الذي يرويه الإمام الترمذي إذا كان أول ليلة من رمضان. I'm going to narrate this hadith this week and then I'm going to bore you again with it next week. إذا كان أول ليلة من رمضان صفدت الشياطين ومردت الجن وفتحت أبواب الجنة فلم يغلق منها باب وغلقت أبواب النار فلم يفتح منها باب ونادى مناد أن يا باغي الخير أقبل ويا باغي الشر أقصر ولله عتقاء من النار وذلك في كل ليلة. He said عليه الصلاة والسلام, the first night of Ramadan occurs, then the shayateen, they are chained, and maradatul jinn, and the heavy hitters amongst them are held back. And the doors of Jannah are open. Not one of them is left closed. and the gates of hell are closed, not one of them is left open. And then a voice calls within the universe and it says, oh, the one who wants khair and goodness, come close, come near. And the one who wants evil, may you stay afar. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant freedom of punishment every single night within this blessed month. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those who obtain that in this month. Allahumma ameen. May Allah make us from the utaqa min an-nar. Allahumma ameen. He would describe this alayhi salatu wasalam in other hadith, and he would say, فيه ليلة, in the hadith in the collection of Imam Abu Dawud and Nasa'i and Ahmad, فيه ليلة خير من ألف شهر, within this month is a night that's better than 1,000 moons. ما يحرم خيرها يحرم الخير كله. The person who is deprived of the khayr that exists within this night is deprived of all goodness. ولا يحرم خيرها إلا محروم. And the person who is deprived of the beauty, of the khair, of the barakah that exists in this night is the one who you can truly describe as the deprived one. The deprived one in the eyes of the Prophet ﷺ is not the person who does not have enough for their day. Is not the person who wanted things and did not obtain them, or was not gifted that which they hoped in their lives. The one who is deprived in the eyes of the Prophet ﷺ is the one who was allowed the blessing, the bounty, the gift of living through the timing of Laylatul Qadr and still did not take anything from it. Who was not standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the Quran being recited through his tongue, with the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in her head and in her mind and in her heart. That's the person who is deprived. Everyone else will be fine. Everyone else Yawm al-Qiyamah will be doing well, but that's the person who's going to come Yawm al-Qiyamah and wish that somehow someone knocked some sense into them. They'll wish that someone had reminded them a little bit more vigorously so that they didn't miss it. Because how could you miss something like that? You see, the whole point of the way this is designed is to see who really cares. You see, Allah is not, obviously, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to pinpoint the night, that's not hard. Ramadan, you don't have to look for Ramadan. You don't have to guess which month it's going to be throughout the year. It's pinpoint, this is when it is. Hajj, same thing. The fact that Laylatul Qadr is not clear exactly which night it is, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for it. Because all you have to do is just draw an analogy to something else that is similar that happens within our lives, for example. If you're told that if you show up to a certain place every day for the next month, then at some point, one of those days will be the day that you'll win a big prize, and the prize is absolutely insane in what it actually is, and if you believe it, you'll show up every day. You have no problem. If you're promised a check $1 million, you'll show up every day. And if they tell you you have to stick around for an hour, you'll stick around for an hour, or 2 or 3. If you know this is, if you can sue them if they don't give it to you, then for sure you'll do it. If this is a given, if it's a good deal and it's given, and you trust those who are making this promise, you'll show up every day, no problem. Think about it in the terms of our lives. Would you not show up every day? Would you not log in every day? Would you not go? Of course you would. Why? Because you're looking at the reward, and the reward makes sense to you. You want that. Yes, that will fix a lot of problems for me. $1 million, it'll fix a lot. Oh my gosh, my life will be so much different. I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do. I don't have to think about this, I have to worry about that. All these problems are fixed immediately. Just this, and all I have to do is show up 30 days, just for a few hours, and one of those days I'm guaranteed to get it. It's not even. People gamble for less. People gamble their lives away for less. People ruin their lives and lives of loved ones for less for odds that are worse than that by 1,000,000 times. You're guaranteed. You show up every single day, you will be written a check for $1 million. Will you not show up? Of course you will. I will. I would. Yeah, I'm not talking about you. I would show up every day so I can quit my job. I would show up every day and then invest half of it and live off half. I'd totally do it. And then I'll take care of patients for free, pro bono. Work pro bono. I don't have to work for a living. For sure I would do it. 100%. I would do it. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala razaqak, you are very rich and too proud. You don't show up for it. I'll show up for it. But I know that there is a number that if it was given to you and the guarantee, you'd show up. And then we don't show up for Laylatul Qadr. How is that possible? How is that possible? How is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you that He has put within one night the ajr of 83 years of worship, of a lifetime, of the worship of a lifetime. He has compressed it, subhanahu wa ta'ala, all within one night. All within. So everything you do in that night, every single thing you do in that night is timed is 83-fold. 83 years. You can't times it by 83 because you're not worshiping a year, you're worshiping a day. It's 30,000. You're timing it by. You think about this. The amount 1,000 months. That's 30,000 days. 30,000 nights. You spend one night just like you did at 30,000, and then you don't show up. Guaranteed that within these last 10 nights or within this month, one of those nights is going to be Laylatul Qadr. Guaranteed that you will get this. You don't show up. That's not, the problem there is what it says about your relationship with Allah. That's the problem with it. It says something. It's a tell. It's a tell that the reward is just not worthy. It doesn't matter. You're not interested that much. Yeah, but I had work or I was tired or whatever. And no one's saying that you have to pray all night long, but to not put in the effort, to not bring, honestly, to not bring your A game to this, for you not to be fully dedicated to this and for you not to prioritize it, to me, it seems almost seems a little bit rude, almost. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would compress all of this ajr into one night and say, okay, so within these 10 nights, show up every night and you'll get it. And you're like, yeah, I know I'm good. I'm okay with my luck. I'll take a chance. I'm going to just take a chance on the 27th and see if it works. If it hits, if it doesn't, well, too bad, I'll do it. It's almost a little bit rude to say, I get what you're offering, but it's just not enough for me. It's not what I want. See, it's not about the amount of it, it's about the priority of it. Is this what you're living for? Is this the most valuable bounty for you to take? Is this the commodity that you want? Is this what you have on your priority list? You want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure and satisfaction and love. You want that connection. You want to be saved and you want to make it Yawm al-Qiyamah to where you want to go. Is that what you want? Then you will dedicate yourselves for sure. يروي الإمام مسلم عن عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يجتهد في رمضان ما لا يجتهد في غيره ويجتهد في العشر الأواخر منه ما لا يجتهد في غيره. The Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام, he's a hard worker and he's someone who performed ibadah more than any of us can even imagine. And then in Ramadan he did way more than he did any other time of the year. And then in the last 10 nights he did way more than he did without Ramadan, because he knew what he wanted عليه الصلاة والسلام. The question just is, do we know what we want? So how do you do this? How do you make Ramadan the best Ramadan of your life? You plan. You absolutely have to plan. You have to plan ahead. I have Ramadan of 2026 booked off. Like I have the last 2 weeks of Ramadan 2026 already booked off. They think I'm insane at work. They think I'm crazy. And I don't mind it. Yeah, I'm insane. I'm crazy. Book off these 2 weeks. Book off. I don't care if the hospital book them off. I'm off. It's the last 10 nights of Ramadan. What else? What other time in the year is worth taking off? What? To go where? To do what? To lie on what beach? To do what is it? What is it that's more worthy than the last 10 nights of Ramadan? Than to make sure that you are standing there, ready, a worthy recipient, if I may, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ongoing blessings of that night. The concentration of barakah that's coming down that night is not something that is imaginable. We can't understand it. Just receive it. You're not asked to do anything else. Just show up and receive that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending your way. You don't even want that. You want it to come to your house. You want to receive during your sleep. What is this? What are we hoping for? How is that even possible that we think that way? What have we allowed ourselves to, how have we eluded ourselves in our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? For Him to offer all of this and for us to be, I need to think about it. I have to see if it works into my whatever. No. This is the season. This is the time. It's now or never. Whatever changes you hope to make in your life, whatever negativities, whatever shortcomings you feel exist, any pain that you have deep inside and any struggles that you are continuously challenged with right now, you want to change that now. It happens now. You make the intention today, and then you enter next Friday with that intention, and then you bring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the best version of yourself, so that He may beautify that best version of yourself, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He may elevate that status for you. That's how you do it. And you will make mistakes, and there'll be nights where you're too tired. That's fine. But you enter with that intention, that, Ya Rabb, I'm going to, you know when you take a mushaf off the shelf, and you look at the first page, there's a stamp on it, right? And it's on the stamp is waqf lillahi ta'ala. Waqf, meaning this is devoted to Allah. It's waqf. You can't sell this. It has no other purpose aside from serving Allah. Stamp yourself. At the beginning of Ramadan, I'm waqf, I'm lillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This month, everything I do, for the sake of Allah. 30, a full moon. Ya akhi, a full moon. You have 990, you have a lot of other moons to do whatever you want. Dedicate yourself this one. And I guarantee you that you will not regret it. I get all the stories of those who were able to perform tawbah appropriately. Those who found themselves. Those who were able to turn things around and find that connection with the Almighty subhanahu, with the Divine Himself. They did it in Ramadan. It happened during this month. Well, when else was it going to happen? When else? Think about it. When else could it happen? Aside from the month where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala closes the doors of the gates of hell and removes the shayateen and opens the doors of heaven and calls upon the hearts of His ibad, of his servants, and He brings them to their masajid fill up in Ramadan with faces we don't see outside of Ramadan, faces I don't know throughout the year. I see them in Ramadan, they come. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls their hearts, so they come. They find something inside of them and they come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He brings them closer and He forgives people and He frees those whom He chooses from the shackles of the hellfire subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's the month of the Quran, Shahr Ramadan, alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran. The Quran was descended within it. That's why it has that status. Ramadan has status. Oh, Ramadan can look down on all of the other months. It is superior to them because Allah chose it for the Quran. That's why, that's the reason for it. Laylatul Qadr, what is the significance of it? It's the night that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam those first words. The first time he heard, Iqra bismi rabbik, the first time the Quran was recited in this world that we live in. And we take that and we celebrate that. And we read that book. We read it on our own. We read it out loud. We read it secretly. We read it in Taraweeh. We read it at all times. And we explain it and we contemplate it. And then we learn to practice it. And we let the love of the Quran guide us for the rest of our lives. And this is what it's about. This is what Ramadan is. He absolutely loved it, alayhi salatu wasalam. He loved Ramadan. Sometimes he would perform i'tikaf for all 30 days. It's very difficult to do 30 days and 30 nights of i'tikaf. But he would do it, alayhi salatu wasalam. He'd prepare himself for it. He would prepare the Sahaba for it. He would build them up, talk to them about what the ajr that is waiting. And then the Sahaba would take their time. Imagine a Muslim population where people take their vacation time off in Ramadan just to worship. I think that's going to be my... That's going to be a metric for me now. I'm going to use that as a measurement. I think that's how we figure out if things are going to get better or not. Once Muslims start taking time off, their vacation time, their sacred time, that needs to exist only on beaches and in cottages. When they take that time off for Ramadan, only to worship God, only to contemplate, only to devote themselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because they care about that, then things are going to change. When people see value, they see value in actually dedicating time off for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like He subhanahu wa ta'ala dedicated this existence for you. Just like He sakhar, He made sure all of this existed so that you and I can walk around and smell the flowers and drink the water and eat the food and run in the valleys. Just like He made this for us subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make sure that you dedicate something. And this is the time to do it. Make the intention in your heart that this Ramadan will be the best of your life. That you will dedicate yourself more than ever. That you will devote yourself better than ever. That you will put in the extra effort. That you will attend every Isha and every Fajr. And you will pray your Taraweeh until the end. And you'll recite the Quran. And you'll get rid of all of the bad habits. Go to your phone today after this khutbah. And just go on a frenzy. And delete things. Delete the garbage. Delete the stuff that don't help you in any way. The information that is completely useless. Delete it all. Get rid of it. Yeah, give yourself half an hour of watching the news every night, okay? Find a news outlet that you enjoy. Watch half an hour. Know what's happening in the world and delete. Yallah. Delete the blue and the green and the orange. Delete them. What do you need them for? And how do they help you? Are they going to bring you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? In what way? They're a waste of your time. You and I both know it. You and I both know that we don't need that. And sit down and schedule your life and figure out when you're going to sleep and how you're going to get up and how you're going to make sure that you are going to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala how much you care and how appreciative you are of this offering that He has made for you. Because it's very rude for Him to make this deal, put this deal out. Here, 1,000 months in one night. This is the deal. Imagine the billboards. The ongoing advertisement. Like, I'm good, I don't need it. Really? What do you have? What do you have that I please explain to me, because I want to be in on whatever deal you're on, because I can't really think of anything that's more valuable than that. إخواني وأخواتي الحقيقة أن الحديث عن هذا الشهر الكريم حديث لا ينتهي ولا ينقضي. وكان صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم في هذا الشهر المبارك يجتهد ما لا يجتهد في غيره في العام كله، وكان يجهز نفسه لهذا الشهر ثم يدعو الله سبحانه وتعالى بعد انقضائه بالقبول. وكان يحب رمضان ويحبب، حتى والله أنا قلت يحب رمضان، والله علماؤنا لا يجيزون لنا أن ندعو وأن ننادي الشهر باسمه، فلا يقال رمضان، ويعتبر هذا من سوء الأدب، ولا يقال إلا شهر رمضان. هكذا تعلمنا أنك إذا ناديت الشهور تقول رجب وشعبان وهكذا، أما رمضان فتقول شهر، ولا تقول دخل رمضان وأتى رمضان، لأنك بأي حق أدعو هذه النعمة الإلهية أناديها باسمها؟ من أنا حتى أنادي هذه النعمة الإلهية باسمها؟ وإنما أناديها وأبجلها، فهذا الشهر هو شهر رمضان، وليس هكذا كانوا يعظمون الشهر. حتى اسم الشهر لا ينادونه باسمه، وإلا بوضع اسم كلمة الشهر قبله، تعظيما لمقامه وتعظيما لتلك الليلة التي أودعها الله سبحانه وتعالى فيه. خير من عبادة عمر كامل. يا أخواني، حياتنا 1000 بدر مكتمل فقط. كم بدر مكتمل مضى؟ لا ندري ماذا قدمنا فيه. لا يدري أحدنا ماذا قدم في هذه البدور المكتملة التي مرت، ولا يدري أحدنا كم بدر مكتمل ينتظره في أفقه. لكن هذا الذي أمامك، هذا الذي الآن سبحانه وتعالى يجهزك له، نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى يبلغنا هذا الشهر، هذا الذي يجهزنا له مميز عن غيره. فيه ما يعوض به كل البدور التي سبقته وكل البدور التي تأتي بعده. فيه ما يعوض به الإنسان، يعوض به المرء كل ما فاته في هذا البدر الذي هو قادم علينا. صلى الله سبحانه وتعالى يبلغنا ويجعلنا من صالح أهلها. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه يغفر لكم. يا فوز المستغفرين، استغفر الله. الحمد لله وحده، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على من لا نبي بعده وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اتبع نهجه ووفى عهده. Make the intention this month not only to be the closest you've ever been to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but to dress in the best dress of ethics and morals and behaviors possible. This month is where we show the true essence of our tarahum, of our good ethic, our good behaviors, of taking care of one another, of thinking about the needs of others, of not just the people who are poor overseas where we give our money, but also the people who are sitting beside you. Bring this to this month the best version of yourself. In Ramadan, we shouldn't see people fighting over spots or fighting in the parking lot or mistreating one another as they enter. No, because this is the month of Ramadan. You make it the best of your life, you have to la tarfuth wa la tafsuq. Meaning you cannot have rafath, you can't have fisq, you can't say anything wrong. You can't harm other people. When we talk about beautifying Ramadan, you beautify Ramadan with your worship, you beautify Ramadan with your behavior, with your ethic, with your morals, with the treatment of others, with the empathy that you carry. This is what we have to focus on. What's the point? If you're praying every night, but every single night you shove your car in the lives of everyone around you, what's the point? There's no point. I'm telling you, you would have gotten more ajr staying home that night, honestly. Because we have to understand the balance that exists within our deen. The rituals do not come on the expense of us not following, of us not taking into consideration the needs of others and the respect of the spaces that we go to and the people that we're dealing with. As you all know, we lost the tent outside. And we've been looking for solutions for the last week or so, and we have not yet figured out what we're going to do. Whether it's going to be whether we stay here and we figure out a way to make a space outside, whether we go to a school that's nearby for Taraweeh specifically, whether we divide the group, we don't know. We're still trying to figure out the solution, because obviously we end up over capacity within the first couple of nights in Ramadan with the space and the extension and the tent, and sometimes people pray outside if it's not too cold. And obviously this is the coldest year that I've witnessed in the entirety of my life, and I don't know if this is going to be an option 2 weeks by any means. So what we're going to put up after the khutbah is a QR code for volunteers. In order for any of the plans that we have to work, if we are able to come up with a plan and we're able to find an option or a solution for this, we will need more volunteers than we usually need. So if you've never volunteered with us, or if you want to make Ramadan different for you this year, then volunteer. Volunteering during Ramadan, by the way, just so you understand, just so I can put this out there, when you volunteer to do something in Ramadan, and by doing that you miss, for example, Taraweeh, or you miss something, you get the ajr of two things. You get the ajr of the Taraweeh that you didn't pray, because if you weren't volunteering, you would have prayed it, and you get the ajr of the service that you offered people. So someone who volunteers in Ramadan gets both ajr, doesn't lose anything. People always say, I don't want to do volunteer because I'll lose. No, you won't lose anything. You win both. You get both of them. Because if you weren't volunteering, you would be praying. So we're going to put up a QR code for those who would like to help and see if we have enough numbers. And then depending on whatever options is offered to us or whatever options we find that are possible, inshallah ta'ala, we'll announce it probably sometime throughout this week or next Jummah on the minbar, because it'll be the first night of Taraweeh next Friday. Wallahu ta'ala alam. So, and after Salat al-Jummah, we are going to do a summary of the town hall that we had last Saturday, which is the full year kind of breakdown of what we have been doing at MWN for the last couple of years, and where we hope to go inshallah in the future as well. So you're welcome if you want to stay after Jummah until Asr to hear us talk a little bit about our vision, our mission, our challenges, our finances, etc., and to ask any questions. You're welcome to stay inshallah after Salat al-Jummah for that as well. I hope that was a benefit to you. وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ أَمَرَنَا بِأَمْرٍ عَظِيمٍ فَقَالَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَمَلَائِكَتَهُ يُصَلُّونَ عَلَى النَّبِيِّ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد وارض اللهم عن الأربعة الخلفاء السادة الحنفاء أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وارض اللهم عن أزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وعن آله الطيبين الطاهرين وعن صحابته الغر الميامين وعن التابعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وعنا معهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات اللهم فرج هموم المهمومين ونفس كروب المكروبين وارفع الغم عن المغمومين وارفع الظلم عن المظلومين واحقن دماءنا ودماء المسلمين اللهم احقن دماء إخواننا المستضعفين في كل مكان احقن دماءهم في فلسطين وفي السودان وفي لبنان وفي غيرها من بلاد الأرض يا رب العالمين اللهم بلغنا جميعا رمضان اللهم بلغ أمة محمد جميعا شهر رمضان اللهم ارزقنا أجمعين فيه الصيام والقيام وغض البصر وحفظ اللسان وبلغنا اللهم أجمعين فيه ليلة القدر واكتب لنا فيه الثواب والأجر واكتبنا أجمعين من عتقائك من النار يا رب العالمين اللهم ردنا إليك وإلى دينك ردا جميلا وتب علينا من جميع ذنوبنا توبة نصوحا طهرنا بها قلبا وجسدا وروحا وما ذلك عليك اللهم بعزيز ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر